What's up guys, it's Darius, and today I have some more Final Fantasy 15 news for you guys. Specifically, I'm going to be actually rounding up or sort of wrapping up all of the information and images and gameplay and all that stuff that we got from the TGS active time report that happened earlier this morning, very early this morning, around 12:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, I'm just gonna try to get through this as fast as possible because, you know, a lot of people like to just get all this information at once and not have to watch the whole thing. Even though it is available on my channel and other places, it's not in English yet. But if there is, you know, hopefully you guys are subscribed to, you know, their Square Enix's YouTube channel, all that stuff. They'll probably have it on there. But anyways, let's get to the first thing. So the first thing that they talked about was the conflict with Niflheim. The conflict between the kingdom of Lucis and Niflheim. Obviously, Niflheim is the opposing kingdom that's trying to take down the kingdom of Lucis, which obviously Noctis and King Regis live in. And we actually got some more information about that. They said that, quote, the Niflheim Empire has achieved world domination, except for the kingdom of Lucis, who has defied them with the crystal's power. So yeah, we actually, you know, that we already knew that, but we really didn't know that Niflheim actually had power basically every other part of the world. We knew that they were taking over different empires and kingdoms, but we didn't know that they had already done it and that the kingdom of Lucis was the only one left. The next thing that they got into was about King Regis, and they said that King Regis is the crystal's current guardian, and he too can wield weapons from thin air. In his youth, he fought beside Cid and General Kor. Now that's pretty cool. Now the image I'm showing you right now, obviously, is King Regis, and he looks a little bit younger, obviously. But as you see on the left, you can see General Kor, and it looks as though Cid might actually be the person next to Kor, and then the person to the right of Regis seems to maybe be the father of Gladiolus, because he actually has the same sword and has the same hairstyle and everything. The reason why I say that's not Cid is just because if you look at the back, or like the shirt or the jacket of the person next to General Kor, you can see that it seems to be some sort of like fish or maybe a shark. And we obviously know that Cindy and you know, Cid, proposed to be Cid, will be the head of the Hammerhead shark. I guess you could say, I don't know really what they call it, like the repair company or whatever. But yeah, this image is pretty interesting. That's really cool news that Cid actually fought beside King Regis, and as it looks like next to King Regis on the right, it looks as though Gladiolus' father may be fighting beside him. As you can see here, we also got a pretty cool like CG screenshot of King Regis sitting on his throne. I guess the translation of what they said when they showed us off was, it says, wondering why King Regis has aged so dramatically, it lies in the need of his energy to maintain the shield around Lucis. So that's basically saying that, you know, King Regis is only really aging because, you know, it takes basically his power or his magic or whatever to protect the kingdom of Lucis, which is pretty darn interesting considering the fact that he's also fighting a war. There's going to be something really, you know, there's going to be a really interesting story for him, especially when it comes to him playing a role in the whole adventure of Noctis and going to have to find, I guess, Luna and everything. There's just a lot of information that they gave us, and it's pretty cool. But let's move on to the next one. So they actually moved on to Luna, and they showed this concept art of her in this kind of like oracle uniform, and she has this weapon, and they said that Luna is a highly revered oracle with the ability to talk to the gods. She is the youngest oracle ever. Also, what's that double-sided spear Luna's holding? Luna lives in Tenebrae, a city under Niflheim control that has some autonomy thanks to her role as oracle. She is courageous, unfazed, even when surrounded by the Niflheim soldiers, as she possesses extreme inner strength. And we basically got this information before the ATR even happened. They showed some concept art that they also showed during the active time report, but they basically said about the same thing, except for that she lived in Tenebrae, but we already knew that. The next one shows an image of Noctis and Luna in the same picture when they were younger, and they have two dogs. And it says, Luna and Noctis made a promise as children. Square Enix isn't saying what that is yet, but it connects to the story. And, we can't really say much about that yet, but obviously, they've had a connection. They've known each other since they were young. And that's the reason why Noctis is going to see her for some reason, as we've known for a little bit. And they actually moved on to the black-haired woman. Now, we saw this in the concept art I was talking about earlier. They actually showed this piece of concept art before the active time report happened. And, I mentioned that she was in the image, but now we have some information about her. It says, in the new artwork of Luna, there's a black-haired woman behind Luna. Her name is Jin Tiana, and she plays an important role. So now we actually have a name for the black-haired lady. Her name is Jin Tiana, Gentiana, which is a pretty cool name. But yeah, I guess that's all we know for now about her. I guess we'll have to either wait for more information or play the game to see exactly what her role is, but obviously she has some ties to Luna. And then next they showed the new gameplay of the Chocobos, which I will play right now for you guys, and also the fishing minigame. But there was also some information that they gave about the Chocobos specifically while they showed this off. So it says, Chocobos can be rented in Gale for up to 30 days and called at any time. While riding Chocobos, you can press the jump button again to make it try to stay airborne. When you go off a Chocobo, it will follow you for a while. You cannot raise or breed Chocobos, and you can catch fish of all sizes in bodies of water using various different rods to cook up back at camp. So I guess one negative thing about that is we're not actually able to raise or breed Chocobos, which is something that we, a lot of people really liked about Final Fantasy in general, just that whole side thing of being able to do a lot of stuff with the Chocobos. But I imagine that there's going to be different ones that you can come across and that you can probably hunt down maybe in the wild, or depending on what region you are in the game, you'll be able to rent different Chocobos with different speed, attack, and all that stuff that'll help you out. So I don't know, we'll have to see how it is, but that definitely is something I know a lot of people will be disappointed about. Alright, so the next one was a long segment in part of the active time report. So basically, Tabata had 21 questions that were all given to him through I think Twitter, and he answered all of them. So right now I'm not going to read the questions, but I'm going to read you basically 21 answers or facts that was given to him about the game. So the first one is that they're considering adding Gilgamesh and others into a game via DLC. The second one is that Chocobos can be called with a whistle, so you won't always have to go to the Chocobo post to get them. There will be rentals and can be rented out for several days. The next fact is that the Chocobo will follow you around when you're not riding on them, but will leave after a while. But no worries, they'll come back if you blow the whistle. Next fact is there won't be any double jumps in Final Fantasy 15, but there will be aerial combos. Next fact is Final Fantasy 15 will feature various minigames called activities such as fishing, Chocobo racing against NPCs, and more. The next fact is that there won't be a Chocobo raising breeding system like in Final Fantasy 7, but there will be a way to track which Chocobo you've been riding, along with special buffs such as increased speed. The next one is that Hajime Tabata said that if they're able to add things into Final Fantasy 15, they will, even if it means having to do so through DLC. The next one is that should they add content to the game via DLC, it always will be free. For example, if they are to add airships through DLC, it will be a free download. The next fact actually is that there will be a variety of familiar magic for Final Fantasy 15 and one brand new main magic. The next fact is that guns won't have combos similar to regular weapons, but they will have rapid fire shots and will require reloads. Think of them as traditional gameplay with guns in other games. The next one is that there will be a variety of lures for fishing, and Square Enix are considering adding special rods that you might be able to get from certain NPCs. The next fact is that Hajime Tabata says that Final Fantasy 15's Seto rating, or MSRB, I guess in America, rating will be at around Seto B or C, around ages 12 and up. The next one is that there will be a variety of foods that you can cook up along with cooking skills. And the next fact is that you'll get something for defeating Archeans, summoned beasts, as in something to prove that you beat them, and will sometimes get to borrow their powers after doing so. The next fact is there are plans to have other languages voicing to be available via DLC. The next fact is there will be scenes that show Luna Freya fighting, but that's all they are able to say for now. Next one is that players won't be able to equip sub-weapons, but other party members will be able to. For example, Gladio can equip a shield. Players can rotate through various weapons, but party members will switch through their sub-weapons. Next one is that the black chocobo isn't just a regular chocobo. The next fact is that you won't be able to go inside all buildings, but there are plenty you will get to enter. Next fact is that Tabata would like to add stuff like background stories when the characters were in high school and other similar episodes. He'd like fans to be able to see more of the characters when they were younger, so they can get to know them better rather than just know what's going on in the current story. Next is that Sydney is the Japanese name, while Cindy is the English name. Tabata calls her Cindy when speaking to the Western media and vice versa. Next fact is that there will be more music changes to the game. For example, you'll get a different song while dashing on a chocobo. Next fact is that after a long while of consideration, Square Enix dropped the idea of having Moogle in Final Fantasy 15. However, if there's enough demand for it, they'll find a way to put them in the game. Next fact is that there won't be any limit breaks for Final Fantasy 7 like they had in Final Fantasy 7, but there will be something similar. Next fact is that when fields are connected, there won't be any required load time while traveling. There will be, however, some when the story moves you from place to place. And the last fact is that more details on 15, such as characters, monsters, profiles, will be revealed periodically before March, when they're expected to announce the release date for the game. So yeah, that's basically all of the questions and facts that they had to show or say about Final Fantasy 15. And that's all of the art and gameplay that they had to show for the active time report that they had during TGS. So I hope you found this whole wrap up very helpful. Again, I'm not sure when they'll actually upload the ATR in English, but this is basically a translation that somebody had while they were there and basically got all this information for it. So if you found this video very helpful, please give it a like. Please comment down below what was your favorite thing that they revealed during this. And what did you think of the whole chocobo riding and whatnot? I really loved how nimble they seem now. They seem very fun to ride, much more fun than they were before. I think it's cool to actually add drifting and all that. And also let me know what you think of the fishing. Please give this video a favorite, share it amongst people who are not aware of any of this news, and please subscribe if you enjoyed and want more videos like this in the future. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.